Hola, buenas tardes. Hoy vamos a presentar el capítulo número 3 de Spotlight Spain. En él vamos a hablar de los vinos españoles. Vamos a hablar de sus distintas regiones, uvas, viñedos, y para ello tenemos al fundador de Vineyard Wines. Él se ha dedicado desde hace muchos años a traer los mejores vinos de España, así que no hay mejor invitado. Acompáñenme.
Como me gusta el dolor, como me muerde el dolor en mi vacilón, déjame a mí.
Here with us, he is the founder and owner of Vineyard Wines. He has invited us to taste his wine. So we are going to try this Pinot Noir and some Cava. And we are here as well with the president-elect of the Chamber of Argentina, who he's originally from Italy. He knows very well the wines from Argentina, and I have managed to convince him about the Spanish wines. So let's see.
Yeah, you always do a good job, Carmen. I cannot deny that. And Thor, thank you for having us over here.
No, you're welcome.
Tell us, how did you come from energy, if I understand correct, to wine?
Yeah,
there's a lot of energy there, but tell us more.
No, I started when I was 18 years old, and I drove through Europe and through the Mosel Valley, and drank Riesling, and that's when I really fell in love with wine. And then I went into oil and gas and spent 25 years in that.
Traveling the world?
Traveling the world, yeah. And but drinking wine all along the world, visiting a lot of the wine regions.
Okay. So what about vin tours? This is interesting name. How do you come up with that?
It's a play on words. Wine, vin is wine in French. So and tour, vin tours, wine tours, wine adventures.
Okay.
So and it was a name that wasn't taken. So so I thought it was good. Yeah.
And what's the ground philosophy? Because if I remember correctly on your webpage, there's a lot of different families, a lot of different areas of the world. Obviously today we're speaking about Spanish wines. Yeah. But what was it common thread? Yeah,
the common thread is really what I wanted was to find wines that are unique, that are not here in Texas, from all over the world, and really that are owned and managed by families. So family-owned, small production, unique wines. Okay. And a lot of my focus is sustainability. It's really important in today's, so the environment and all that, sustainability, organic. Actually, 3 of the wines we're tasting today is certified organic from Spain, so that's an important element. Basically, I work with an importer out of California called Porque No Selections. Okay. So why not selections? And he is specialized purely on Spanish wines, and a lot of wines from different regions that are not as well known as Rioja. So we're not going to taste Rioja today, but we're going to start with 2 Cavas. Both are from the main Cava area, Pinedas, outside Barcelona. That's where they do. And Cava, is made exactly like champagne. So it's the method traditionnel, secondary fermentation in the bottle to create the gas and all that. So that's what we're going to start with. One is very traditional with the Spanish traditional grapes, and one is more modern with the Pinot Noir grapes. Then we're going to move to Rioja País and taste an Albarreño.
Okay.
Really 100% Albarreño. It's a different climate over there. It's really Atlantic, maritime climate. And then we're going to go to kind of central in Spain and try Tempranillo. Tempranillo is a very common grape, one of the most common, together with Grenache and so on.
Very good.
And we're going to finish in Jerez.
A tour of Spain.
Tour of Spain.
A lot of relationship with different sea breezes.
Yeah.
A lot of relationship, a lot of imagine the cultural experiences, because behind every bottle of wine there's a culture.
Let's try.
Thank you.
Yeah. What we're drinking here is the Cava from Pinedas. It's a very traditional, 3 traditional grapes from that area. It's so made in the traditional method, same as champagne. So it's aged a couple of years on the lees, and it's certified organic, and also in the same family since 1793.
What would you say we can actually have with this? What would you?
You know,
what we
this
could
is
eat?
very versatile. Cava can really, you know, you can have it with a lot of different things. With cheeses, with, I mean, the acidity, it cuts kind of through, so it's very versatile. So the grapes are Sarello, Macabeo, and, you know, so it's typical traditional grapes from there. So we have one more Cava from the same area, so which is really I mean, Cava can actually be made from several different regions, you know, spread around around the Spain. But the main region is really outside Barcelona and Pinedas, Vilafranca, the Pinedas, and so on. So this one is made with 100% Pinot Noir, the next one we're going to taste, which is more kind of the modern style, but it's also a traditional family-owned producer. It's been in the family for a couple of 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah. This is also, so it's called Jaume Giro e Giro. The color is beautiful.
Gold. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a very pretty color.
And the color is not so pink. It's more the Provence style, which is really the most popular kind of color. So that's another thing. Pinot Noir Cava is not very common, but it's getting more and more. They're doing that. So it's not the traditional. And then it's certified organic as well, which is important. But it's made in the same style as the first one. Different grape, obviously, so you get different flavors and so on. But it's secondary fermentation. It's on the lees, like on the yeast in the bottle for about a year and a half or so.
It's interesting because you can still feel a little bit of the yeast.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So that's actually something that organic, the natural flavor that keeps coming back.
yeah, yeah.
That I think is
that's
relevant.
true. It's
I
more,
think
you know, more natural. No, nothing has been used. The only thing you do is, I mean, the primary fermentation, because it has two fermentations.
obviously.
First, you ferment, you know, the alcohol into wine, and then when you start,
push it to
when you that is spontaneous. So it's just yeast, and they don't use totally natural. But when you put it in a bottle to do the secondary fermentation, you put a little bit of yeast and sugar.
When I go to your website, I order it right now. What happens?
What happens?
How long will it take after you withdraw money from us?
So, you know, during this whole kind of pandemic, we've said if you order before 11 a.m., you get the same day.
Oh wow! So you're better. You're better than Amazon.
Yeah.
Better than Amazon. Amazon for adults.
When you need wine, you get it.
Mira cómo suena el mar.
So now we're going to move across the country and out to the coast to Rías Baixas and have an Albarino. White wine, yes.
This is a must with seafood in Spain.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be my favorite right now.
This is perfect with all kind of seafood. This is one of my favorite white grapes. So this was a few families that owned land and were growing grapes and selling it, and then about 20 years ago decided to start their own brand, you know, wine and
Nice.
so that's what this is. Aba Moraima. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's very affordable, very
So you can
good.
get some of the shrimps, the Gulf shrimps, or some of the Argentinian shrimps as well, and then mix it all together. That would be good. Well, it's hard to find some Spanish shrimps here. You can actually find some pulpo, right?
Yeah, the pulpo. So, for example, because I mean, this is very popular in the north of Spain. So, pulpo a la gallega with this wine is like one of the most popular dishes in Spain.
There you go. You don't feel it at the tip of your tongue. You feel it more on the side, and then it basically gets you mouthful of flavor. So that's interesting. I can see the blend with like some salt, like, you know, those kind of fleur de sel. Like
It's almost you can taste the salt in it.
Yes.
I mean, it's really it's close to the sea, and you know. So
you feel
have
that
a-
breeze. You can feel that breeze coming in. Absolutely.
Mira cómo suena el mar.
And we're going to go to the grape that kind of Spain is most famous for, Tempranillo. From, you know, kind of, it's famous from the Rioja area and so on.
Yeah.
But we are going to go to a different area, Uchilrequeña.
Okay.
So it's a little bit inland, but still on the Mediterranean side.
Okay.
And it's a crianza, and crianza needs to be aged for 1 year in
1 year.
oak
Okay.
barrels.
Oak.
Yeah, oak. And then reserva is 2 years, and then Grand Reserva is actually 2 years in oak, and then 3 years in bottle.
Oh wow.
So you can't release it for 5 years.
Wow.
If it's a Grand Reserva.
Major investment.
Yeah. So we talked about alcohol. So this one has 15%.
Yeah.
So now we're in a warmer, closer to the Mediterranean, and so riper fruit and ferments into alcohol. What do you think about the balance? I mean, I think it's super balanced. Tannins, fruit.
Exactly.
Acid.
So if you close your eyes, tell me where you go. If you close your eyes.
Home.
Home
Okay,
to
we
Spain.
hear
Yeah, we
somebody's
know
homesick.
that.
Somebody's homesick. We're talking about Spain in a Spanish event. Like, okay. What else? Where would you go if you close your eyes?
Yeah, Spain.
Yeah. And family. I mean, because this is something that we take in the family house when we are having lunch or dinner. So it's not something that you drink in bars having fun with friends. It's more like sitting in. So in Spain, when we change from one wine to another, what we do is that's the reason why we relate olive oil to wine. What we do is to take bread with olive oil, and then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like to change the taste.
Yeah, you have to cover it.
Clean your palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You really are homesick, Carmen, right?
yeah.
Wow.
And I think Spain is probably one, if not the best value for money for wine in the world. It's really good. It's super quality wines. What you pay for them is.
Mira cómo suena el mar.
So we're changing gears here, geographically and on the wine. So we're moving to Jerez, down south, kind of south, a little bit west.
Jerez de la Frontera.
Yeah, and we're going to have a sherry. So this sherry is from Alexander Jules, and he is actually a guy who goes and visits the Jerez and visits producers and goes around and tastes all kind of different Soleras. I don't know if you know what's Solera. It's like you have different barrels of different vintages.
Yes.
And you blend them as
Yes.
you get the new vintage in. You put them out and you take some out of the last one.
So-
So this is kind of aged, what you call the top forms on it. So it ages without oxygen for about 9 years, and then once that disintegrates, it's done about 9 more years.
Wow.
After that with the oxygen.
Takes some time.
Yeah, it takes a while. So Amontillado, so it's really a fino, but then it does another lots of years of aging, before you bottle it. And then obviously it's blended. I mean, so it's a high alcohol. I think this one it has to be between 16 and 22%.
Otherwise.
That's the law. So this is 18 or 18 and a half, I think.
Don't drink it. Just breathe it.
Just smell it. I mean, it smells
Breathe
lovely.
it.
Yes, we are definitely.
Ooh, there's a lot going on here.
Yes,
you know.
there is a lot. Yes.
Mainly my grandfather was taking it for the dessert.
Like
with
after
some-
dinner?
Yeah, so
With a cigar?
a cigar,
With a cigar.
cheese, with almonds, or even with a
Yeah.
piece of dark chocolate.
Okay.
I
Yes,
remember
dark
this.
chocolate. We haven't mentioned dark.
But I think I can taste the almonds in it. I think But it's not really that sweet.
It's not sweet at all.
No.
It's not that
Cool.
really nice.
Obviously, your key word is home, Carmen.
And I know where I can find this because I look for Alvarinho all around. So I'm
There you go. Now,
Yeah.
are you pleased about the journey that you shared with us and your passion for wine?
Yeah. No, I'm super pleased that thank you for coming and letting me do this, because I love to share wine. Wine is about sharing,
Yes.
and you share it with people that enjoy it. And Spanish wines are, to me, I mean, it's the best value there is out there. Great wines from Cavas to, crisp whites to, big reds and sherry. So
Awesome.
it's super. Great journey. Thank you.
Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Y este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas me empujaron. Este mar procede de un volcán, sus aguas cristalinas